Milton's Adventure, a Milton story, narrated by Ed Pawncroft. Chapter 2, The Perils of Peanut Pete. Milton had been walking for a while now, trudging up the side of a particularly large knoll. The sun was low and the wind was high, blowing a gale across the moor. Milton made step after step onto the soggy ground, thick gorse snapping at his legs. "This is so long," moaned Milton over the howling of the winds. The bird responded quickly, flying from Milton's shoulder and hovering in front.
"Keep at it, master, and soon you'll see the place where Peanut Pete will be."
"Fine, but how much longer?" Milton protested.
"Over the hill and a little bit more. The demon is close, of that I'm sure."
Milton wailed and continued to plod up the steep gradient, clutching the chalice in one hand and the ancient blade in the other. In time, Milton reached the zenith of the mound, where an outcrop of large rocks peppered the landscape. "Wow!" gasped Milton in awe. "What is this place?"
"Behold, Tattletale Top! For a break here we will stop."
Milton stopped for a while, resting under the sanctuary of one of the great boulders, in a small crevasse known colloquially as Banana Caverns. A light drizzle had started up, and Milton sighed, remembering he had foolishly forgotten to pack a raincoat. Minutes passed, and the weather showed no sign of improvement, so Milton got up and pressed on. The weather had worsened by now, as it tends to do on the moor, and Milton's mood had soured after having stumbled over a moor rock and getting a boot full of muck. Eventually, Milton came to a strange stone, jutting halfway out of the ground. On top was balanced a single peanut, somehow resisting the weft of the winds. "Uh-oh," said Milton warily. "This must be Peanut Pete. He doesn't look like much, to be honest." Milton circled the ancient waystone. The nut looked like a completely normal shelled peanut from all angles, its two bulbous pods standing vertical against the force of the wind.
"Yep, I'm almost sure this is just like a normal nut from just a bag of peanuts from the shop."
Suddenly, the air around Milton seemed to change, encircling him and forming a disembodied voice that spoke in a whispered tone. "Do not eat. Peanut Pete." Milton stumbled slightly.
"Who's there?"
The voice came again. "Do not eat. Peanut Pete." Milton felt his vision cloud over, the moor around him becoming a blur, all except for the small peanut atop the stone. "Do not eat. Peanut Pete." The whispering words seemed to taunt him. "Do not eat. Peanut Pete." Milton couldn't take it any more. He lurched forward and grabbed the peanut in his cold hands. The whispering intensified. It was as though the peanut was talking to him. All Milton could see was the peanut, which began to emanate light stronger than 20 suns. The surrounding area was a green haze. The ground softened beneath his feet as though it were water. Before Milton knew what he was doing, the peanut was in his mouth, shell and all. It crunched hard between his teeth, being tossed around like a tumble-dryer. As Milton masticated on the nut, the sky darkened, becoming a hue of crimson. Everything around him began to rumble and quake, and the ground gave way. From the huge, newly opened chasm in the ground came first a colossal gloved hand, followed by another, which pulled itself up to reveal the body of a giant peanut-like man. Milton fell back in shock as the huge peanut got to its feet. Its limbs were thin, wiry, and disproportionate to its immense bulbous body. It appeared to wear a little red bow tie and a little black top hat, which sat atop its peanut head. Milton cowered as the gargantuan goober dusted off its pantaloons and adjusted its small grey moustache. The nut's eyes were a glowing red, and seemed to burn through Milton's very soul.
"Ye who have consumed on my nut, your time is up,"
spoke the gigantic legume, unleashing an immense 20-inch rapier and assuming a parry stance. Milton gave into instinct and immediately turned to flee, only to find that the moor around him had given way to a sheer 80-foot drop, at the bottom of which was an immense ocean of throbbing green membrane.
Bearer of the bloodstone chalice, there is nowhere left to run. Now turn, withdraw your blade, and face me in a duel of valor.
Okay. Just give me a second. Milton stumbled around on the floor for a bit before clumsily unsheathing his Puckanese dagger. You're gonna die today, Peanut Pete. I'm gonna seal you away, and then after that I'm gonna get rid of the other 54 of you. Peanut Pete laughed uproariously.
An impossible task indeed, young champion. You'll sooner be smited by Krog himself than defeat me and the agents. Now, on guard!
Pete swung forth, his long rapier making contact with Milton's own stout blade. Milton used this momentum to swing forth and block the attack. You're going to be peanut butter by the time I'm finished with you! Using knowledge gained from countless hours of playing Oblivion, Milton continued to block and parry, as well as make his own jabs at the big nut. I'm going to feed you to the squirrels!
I have only just gotten started,
laughed the legume, unleashing a barrage of prods and slashes. Milton dexterously dodged. He was beginning to quickly learn Pete's fighting style. By the time this fight's over, you're going to be fertilizer on the ground, screamed Milton, launching forwards with a tight jab which made contact, piercing Pete's peanutty armour. Peanut Pete staggered back in shock, dropping his rapier.
You broke my shell.
That's right, announced Milton, kicking the lengthy sword off the edge of the abyss. And I'm going to break a hell of a lot more. Before Peanut Pete could respond, Milton had thrust the bayonet down into his lower peanut pod, crashing through the thick layer of shell and deep into the hidden inner nut. Peanut Pete howled in pain.
No, my nut! You've bust my nut!
Saliva dripped from Milton's mouth as he wrenched the bayonet back out of the shell, with the bowling ball-sized nut stuck fast on the end. And now, I'm going to eat it! Milton chowed down hard on Pete's nutty heart, making sure to let little bits of it crumble out the sides of his mouth. Pete moaned.
You may have murdered me, but many more will simply take my place.
As Milton masticated, the bird shot from its position on his shoulder and fired a jet of white light at the destroyed Peanut Man.
The demon known as Peanut Pete on this day lies in defeat.
A blinding flash of white encompassed everything, and Milton opened his eyes to find that the moor around him had been turned completely back to normal, sans the peanut, which no longer stood atop the stone. The rain had also cleared, leaving blue skies perforated with the odd cumulus. Milton blinked. Whoa! Was any of that even real? The bird swooped down and did a little barrel roll on the moor breeze.
To the Pucker realm, the beast did go, a perfect place for such a foe.
Didn't realise I had it in me. Milton looked at the chalice that was gripped tight in his hand, and a strange orange aura coiled outward from it and wrapped around his arm. Whoa! The chalice is doing something weird!
The power from the little glass, you'll find, is surely unsurpassed.
The chalice began to fill itself with bubbly orange liquid before Milton's very eyes. Without thinking, Milton swigged the shimmering ichor and breathed in deep through his nostrils. I feel like $1 million! Come on, let's get back to Lodestone Lodge! Milton approached the lodge on the horizon, its warm, welcoming glow acting as a beacon through the moor dusk. Before entering, he paused at the window to look in. To Milton's surprise, the lodge was full of many more than just Jamie. Milton noted at least 6 other celebrity TV chefs congregated around the fire pit, all engaged in hot debate. Milton pressed his ear up against the frosty glass to see what he could make out. "He's a danger to the whole order!" cried the familiar vibrato tone of Ainsley Harriott. "We can't give him any more chances!" Jamie responded, inhaling deeply on a long pipe. "Gordon has been instrumental to the order since the beginning. We can't simply dispose of him." The gentle, breathy voice of Nigella chimed in. "I agree with Jamie. He is just too deep-rooted in the order by this point." "But we did the same with Heston after he created that ungodly food column," argued Ainsley. "Surely we can temporarily bar him and at least restrict his powers before something bad happens." Gennaro, Jamie's elder and mentor, spoke from his seat among the spice barrels at the back of the lodge. "The situation was very different. In this case, Gordon Ramsay has done nothing to warrant expulsion." Ainsley exploded with Jamaican fury. "Toying with demons doesn't warrant expulsion! What is this order coming to? This is the Bodiscalia we're talking about here! Ainsley was cut off as Milton loudly sneezed outside the window. "Shit! Milton's back from his trial!" exclaimed Jamie, jumping to his feet. "Hang on, everyone!" Jamie stepped out of the front door, closing it behind him. Milton smiled.
Hey, Dad, I finished the trial. What were you and the other chefs talking about in there?
Nothing. You shouldn't have been listening, replied Jamie hastily.
Oh, sorry. Well, I just got back from killing peanut pizzas all.
Jamie led Milton away from the door. Oh, that's great. It really is. Follow me and I'll show you what you need to do next, my boy.
Okay, sure thing, Dad,
responded Milton keenly. It was night by now, and the tall trees had become ominous skeletal forms casting shadows across the way. Jamie led Milton down some wooden steps to the side of the lodge, where the wood shed and boiler room were located. Jamie paused outside the little wooden door to the boiler. Now, Milton, I'm about to let you in on a piece of knowledge known only by the inner circle of the Pucker Order. Milton frowned.
What, the boiler room? I've been down here dozens of times before.
No, Milton, responded Jamie. Not the boiler room. I'm about to show you something secret and amazing. Hold out your palms and then place them flat on the door.
Okay. I don't understand this at all, but I'll do it.
Milton did as instructed, placing his palms on the wood of the door. Okay, now hit the door as hard as you can with your head, Milton, directed Jamie.
What?
Hit the door with your forehead. As hard as you can, repeated Jamie. Milton looked bemused.
Now why would I do that?
You have to do as I say, Milton. This is instrumental in your quest, instructed Jamie again.
Is this because I overheard your conversation? Oh, God! Oh, are you going to kill me off?
Jamie became exasperated. No, Milton, for the last time, hit the door with your head. It won't hurt at all, it's magic. Milton grimaced.
Oh, fine. But to find out with big lump on my face, you have to carry me to the hospital, okay?
Milton paused for a second,
before smashing his head full force into the wooden door, producing a hefty thud.
That's it, my child. You've done it, applauded Jamie excitedly.
Wow, I didn't feel a thing. So, what have I done?
Bring up your list of demons, Milton. Choose which one you are to destroy next.
Milton obliged, pulling out the small piece of paper. I don't know. The Windy Puppeteer? No. Rice Pudding Man? Not for me, thanks. Aha! How about number 32, the Wheel of Fortune? That sounds like a right laugh.
No, Milton. That says the Wheel of Fortitude. It's a horrific demonic being currently residing in a Croce's nebula. Maybe you should leave that one until later. Milton butted in.
No, Father. I have to make my own decisions, don't I? So let me do the wheel, damn it!
Jamie exhaled. Very well, Milton. So this is the thing about this. The second you go through that door, you will end up near to where the demon is. It's a Puccanese art known as space transmutation.
Space transmute what?
Jamie repeated. Space transmutation. It will take a while to get there depending on how far away it is. But it might also go really quickly too, because you're travelling through all the cosmic polyfiller in the middle of all the dimensions. Milton stared blankly.
Okay, Dad.
He checked that he had everything with a quick once over. The chalice gripped tightly in his hand, the list crammed into his pocket, the dagger fastened to his belt, and his Attack on Titan backpack securely over his shoulders. It was time to go through.
I'm going to do it.
The bird zoomed up in front.
Away we go, across the stars, far from Earth and way past Mars.
Milton pulled the little wooden door open and made his way through into the blackness. Jamie called out as Milton closed the door behind him. Go now, champion of the chalice. Bring light to the reaches of the 7 areas and show those demons who's boss. Milton grinned and stared into the darkness of the boiler room. A tiny rainbow-coloured vortex slowly began to grow larger before him until it enveloped his being completely.
This is crazy. I've never even seen half of these colours before.
Milton looked down at his hand, which had taken on the properties of water and was fast becoming individual pulsating droplets.
What is going on?
Milton began to feel himself spinning around and around, while more and more colours zoomed past. Truly, Milton had never seen anything like it before. Within an instant, he fell to the floor, completely unconscious.